Welcome to a historical journey that takes us to one of the largest and most violent wars the world has ever witnessed. World War I, which began in 1914 and lasted until 1918, was not just a military conflict, but a radical shift in the course of human history. Its events, causes, and consequences did not only affect the warring nations, but extended to all parts of the world, changing the landscape of politics, geography, and economy. Let's delve into the factors that led to the outbreak of this war, how it affected humanity, and what lessons we can learn from it to maintain peace in our world today. Causes. 1. Political and military alliances. In the early 20th century, Europe saw a complex and intertwined system of alliances. The Triple Alliance, which included Germany, Austria, Hungary, and Italy, was opposed by the Triple Entente, which included France, Russia, and Britain. These alliances were intended to create a balance of power, but instead they led to a network of mutual obligations that turned any local conflict into an international issue. Second, arms race European countries were in a race to increase their military power and develop their weapons. Germany and Britain, in particular, were fiercely competing in building naval fleets and advancing war technologies. This military race heightened tensions and promoted readiness for war. The land armies in European countries were expanding and improving technically, leading to increased tensions and animosities among the great powers. 3. Conflicts in the Balkans. The Balkan region was full of ethnic and political tensions and was the scene of many conflicts. The assassination of Archduke Franz Ferdinand of Austria in Sarajevo by Serbian nationalists on June 28, 1914, was the spark that ignited the war. Austria-Hungary began attacking Serbia, leading to a series of alliances and defenses that resulted in a full-scale war. Fourth, colonial competition. European countries were competing for control over colonies and global markets. This colonial competition led to increased tensions among the major powers and fueled economic and political conflicts. The search for global influence and control created more hostilities and increased the likelihood of conflict. Fifth, nationalist conflicts. Nationalist and ethnic conflicts within European countries were increasing internal tensions and pushing governments towards external wars as a means to alleviate internal pressures and unite peoples around common national issues. Nationalist movements in Eastern Europe, in particular, were demanding independence and opposing imperial rule. Key events. 1. The war on the Western and Eastern fronts. The war was divided into two main fronts: the Western Front, which included battles on the borders between Germany, France, and Belgium, and the Eastern Front, which included battles between Germany and Austria-Hungary on one side and Russia on the other. The Western Front was famous for trench warfare and fierce battles like the Battle of the Somme and the Battle of Verdun. Second U.S. entry into the war. In April 1917, the United States entered the war on the side of the Allies after a series of attacks on its ships by German submarines. The entry of the United States had a significant impact on the course of the war and contributed to the Allies' victory. 3. The Russian Revolution. In 1917, the Russian Revolution broke out and overthrew the Tsarist regime. This led to Russia's withdrawal from the war after signing the Treaty of Brest-Litovsk with Germany in March 1918, affecting the balance of power on the Eastern Front. Results. 1. Human and material losses. The war left millions dead and wounded and destroyed many cities and infrastructures. Estimates indicate that about 10 million soldiers were killed, in addition to millions of civilians who were directly or indirectly affected by the war. The human toll was catastrophic and affected entire societies. 2. Political changes. The war ended with the fall of major empires like the German Empire, the Russian Empire, and the Ottoman Empire. These drastic changes led to the emergence of new states and the redrawing of borders in Europe and the Middle East. The First World War also marked the end of many European monarchies and the beginning of a new era of republics. Third, Treaty of Versailles. After the war ended, the Treaty of Versailles was signed on June 28, 1919. This treaty imposed harsh conditions on Germany, including holding it responsible for the war and determining huge reparations to be paid to the victorious countries. These stringent terms contributed to escalating tensions in Europe and led to the rise of nationalism in Germany, paving the way for World War II. Fourth, establishment of the League of Nations. To maintain global peace and prevent future wars, the League of Nations was established in 1920. This international organization aimed to promote dialogue and cooperation between countries, but it ultimately failed to prevent the outbreak of World War II. 5. Social and economic changes. World War I led to significant changes in European societies. Women gained a larger role in the workforce due to the absence of men on the front lines. Additionally, the economic costs of the war led to economic crises in many countries, contributing to changes in economic and social policies. The collapse of traditional economic systems and the emergence of new economic policies were notable outcomes. World War I was a historical event that changed the course of humanity and led to radical changes in the world. The causes that led to its outbreak were multiple and complex, as were the resulting consequences. By studying this war, we can understand the factors that lead to major conflicts and work to avoid them in the future. It is a lesson in history that we must remember and learn from to maintain peace and stability in the world. World War I is not just a page in history books, but an ongoing lesson that reminds us of the importance of dialogue, understanding, and avoiding tensions that may lead to devastating conflicts. We must learn from the mistakes of the past and work together to build a world characterized by peace and justice.